Hi, everybody. How's it going? Good. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you. This is the Vallejo Sun second anniversary party. And it's great to see you all here. We really want to do something for our subscribers, and it's really awesome that you all came out to join us and celebrate with us, because we were trying to work hard for the people of Vallejo, for the community, and so it's great to see you all and meet you and just know who's reading us, because sometimes you sit at a computer screen and you just don't see those folks. You just sending them out and you don't know who's reading them or anything. So it's great. I love that you're here. I love that you're reading them. We're going to talk a little bit about the work that we do and kind of try and answer some questions and kind of just introduce ourselves a little bit. I'm Scott. I'm the editor of the Vallejo Sun.
Hi,
Scott. We've got Gretchen here. She's doing our arts coverage and our events calendar. And this is Ryan, and he's been doing City Hall for us, and he's been doing some really great coverage. And then we've got a special appearance by John Glidden, who was a founder of Vallejo Sun. He left earlier this year, but he's here now. He's going to help us kind of run this discussion and ask us some questions and all that.
So, I guess I'm up. Thank you much. I just wanted to say that I was with Scott and with Brian. I forgot him already. I've left. It's been an honor for myself. If you don't know, I was with the Times-Herald for several years. Maybe you remember reading my material, my articles. Thank you. So it was, this is sort of a passion project for all of us. At some point, we won't naysay competitors, but we felt there was a need for what wasn't being done out there in the community, especially covering City Hall. The Times-Herald, which is owned by a corporate entity, was cutting positions, numerous positions every year. And again, just felt like there needed to be something else. So Scott, Brian, and myself, we started with the Vallejo Sun, which came off of, I don't know if anyone had read my news site after I left the Times-Herald, johnglidden.com. Yeah. That started, and that was built off of, the Vallejo Sun built off of that. So we're here, second anniversary, just to thank you all for reading. That's the most important thing. Keeping, especially City Hall. We all know City Hall. I know City Hall's probably mad at the city of Oakland right now. Why'd you mess up that grant? Now we have people know about this grant. So, I know City Manager Malone is probably sending evil emails. I don't know. So I'm here. I was brought in actually to celebrate with you all. Actually, I was here to. I've been asked to ask questions. I'm out of the game. If you might have known, I'm district representative for Monica Brown, Supervisor Monica Brown. So I've been doing that for the last 6 months. So I was asked to ask questions, and I don't ask questions anymore. So let's see if I'm rusty. So, but I guess if I want to just, like a game show host, I guess for Scott, or maybe, I guess for Scott actually, what has been, for the last year, for 2 years, what has been the positive, or is there a negative, or what's been your impression so far? Because if you don't know, Scott was the one that approached me after I built johnglidden.com. He's like, hey, let's take this to the next level, So what has been, Scott, this is basically your baby. This is you doing this and roping me in, and I'm like, okay. And Brian, so Scott, what has it been like for you as the founder? Super founder?
Co-founder.
Co-founder. You want to be co-founder? Okay.
You were instrumental in all of it, and John, I like you were doing so much of like the daily coverage back then. We couldn't have done it without you getting started with that, because it really took a team to get that going. For me, the the best part has been just the reception that it's gotten, because to kind of, see people reading the articles, to write back and say, you guys are doing a great job, to sharing them, and just to know that like we're making a difference, and we do have an impact. Like there's been several times that our investigation has spurred other people to take action. There's John story we found out got a former Vallejo police officer fired from his new job at the Broadmoor Police Department, and then he wants to go and sue the city because they leaked his personnel records to John, and John wrote a story about it.
Just fell off the back of a truck.
And they'd love to know who had that leak, but they don't know because John's the guy that protects the sources. So that's the kind of stuff that it really makes it worthwhile, and it's challenging. Journalism is a challenging business. Not everybody likes what you write. Not every, and it's well known that there's not a ton of money in it or anything like that. And really, what keeps us going is that we know that people are reading, and we know that we're having an impact. So that's really important to us, and that's been the real story the last 2 years, I think.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I took a look at the board, and I know that's one of the things that was said. The sticky note was we want more positive news. City Hall keeps them. Yeah, City Hall keeps them busy. Positive, good feeling news, and I know that Gretchen was brought on board, and she's been the Vallejo Sun's arts reporter, but she's also gotten into the muck of City Hall. You can't stay away from it. So it's fun. Anyway, it was fun. Sorry. So I guess Gretchen, you were brought in for like arts coverage, but what do you, as joining the Vallejo Sun, what has it been like for you? What has been a surprise, or has there been something that's like, oh, that makes sense, or how has it been for you over this last year? Or 6 months? How long have you been? I should know that.
It's
been about a year. So, over the last year, what are your impressions so far?
Well, I joke that I'd like to clone myself because there's so much that I'd like to write about that I don't really have time to do. And yeah, I was brought on to cover positive things, events and personalities, and I have done that, but sometimes like you set out to write a fun story about kayaking and you find out that the kayaks can't access the river anymore, and it turns into this whole other thing. So,
that's Vallejo.
So I have to go down those rabbit holes too, and I enjoy that, but I'm not going to stop the positive stories either about people who are doing good things in the community.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's been kind of surprising. I took a couple journalism classes during the pandemic, and I've been doing the event calendar for several years, but all of a sudden it morphed into I'm busy writing for the Sun. So I'm really enjoying it and enjoying the good feedback.
Thank you. And as you guys have met, our third person, Ryan. Yeah, he's covering City Hall. He replaced me, took my position when I left.
Drowning in big shoes.
Yeah. So Ryan, I guess covering City Hall so far, what's it been like? I know my experiences covering City Hall, but with you and covering those lovely Vallejo City Council meetings that we all love, those are fun. I guess what's your experience? What have you enjoyed? Is there a story that you look back at and go, oh man, that's something that you're super proud of? Is there a story that stands out for you during your time with the Sun, or what's your impression so far?
Well, I mean, sometimes I think that more the ongoing coverage is is I think starting to be what I'm most proud of is I don't know, there sometimes stories come out really good and they seem exciting, and then sometimes they're just kind of these day-to-day things, but it builds on this like body of information that's out there. And I've used a lot of your stories of looking back to have a record when there's something else that's coming up, but it has this historical context of what's been happening in Vallejo. So these parts are really. These parts are really kind of. I think it's really valuable just to have that long-term kind of perspective. The stories that I think I'm proud of are the ones where there's a cooperation with like a nonprofit agency or like a watchdog group that has a lot of key information, and you're able to like connect that with maybe a community member that's saying, hey, pay attention to this issue, and then people come and put pressure on the council to make a change. So those things are. What's that?
I said sometimes we get it. We get the change.
Yeah. So sometimes we get it, or it's just kind of sometimes it just puts general pressure in that direction. So yeah, I guess that's what is exciting to me.
Okay. Is there a story that stood out? Is there one that, I guess that's the question. Is there a story, one of you guys, or maybe for all three of you, is there a story that's like, that's it? Like for Scott, you're hard news, police coverage. We all know that City Hall, but in police and courts. Is there a story for you since you've been involved since day one that's like, that's the Vallejo Sun, that's why we were needed here? Is there a story that sticks out to you, or two?
I mean, the one story that sticks out for me that was one of the hardest stories I ever had to write was writing about Vallejo's Project Roomkey program. And when I kind of discovered what was happening there, it was just rumors on the street. I was out there like kind of covering homelessness, and I started looking into that, and we were doing some public records requests, and we did a couple initial stories just about that there had been these unexplained deaths happening there, and then once we started doing that, we had family members coming forward to us to say, hey, this happened to our mom, this happened to, and it was this really like these devastating stories that I ended up hearing, and it was a lot to carry around too, like just to kind of know, like and just writing it was honestly excruciating, but at the same time, like it was like that was why we were here, because this is like a story that just would not have been told otherwise. There just was nobody else that was anywhere close to discovering this or knowing about it, and it was something that was really important to us to get out, and so I think that moment right there was really made a big difference for me. It was like, okay, this is why we put this project together. This is why we're doing this.
Nice, yeah.
And I kind of asked you guys before, but is there, I guess from my point of view, as someone now as an outsider, I guess, I don't know if I'll ever be an outsider, but from an outside, is there something that signifies that this is why you joined the Sun or why you write? Is there something that, man, that's it? Because, you see this room, you got filled with people who read the Sun. From my point of view, when I was with the Times Herald, I never got feedback. It was always, oh, you stink, or you're. If I'm covering, well, yeah, when I was covering the school district under the term of Ramona Bishop, I'm racist, I'm that, and you see a lot going. You feel that you see a lot going on, but you also feel that negativity. And so when you see a room filled with people who actually read the material, you read the material, that's great. This would have been invaluable 5 years ago for me, because you don't see that type of reaction. So for you guys, and this will be my last question for y'all, so we'll open it up so you guys can give some feedback. But for you two, for Gretchen and Ryan, is there, are you happy? Are you happy? You better say yeah. No. What is it that keeps you going? I mean, you obviously like money, but who doesn't? But what keeps you chase. There's a chase element here to find this, the story. What motivates you here?
Okay, well, for me, I think, how's that?
Yeah.
I think I started hitting my stride when I wrote about OzCat Radio.
Oh, I worked there.
And, letting people know about this institution that's been in Vallejo for a long time. Some people never heard of, even people who were part of it didn't know the history of it.
Still don't know it.
That, huh?
We still
don't know it. Is that what you said, Paula?
Yeah, we still don't know the history. What is OzCat?
Did you read the article? I'll send you the link. And then another one I enjoyed was writing about the townhouse. Yeah. See, some of my drinking buddies over here. And, so those are positive stories about, a couple of Vallejo institutions, cultural institutions. But I really did enjoy the waterfront article. Like I said, I started out, I was going to write about kayaking, and I found out how, I knew the waterfront was neglected, but it was like, I just kept finding out more and more and more, and I really started enjoying the digging and the asking questions, and so I want to do more of that too. Mm-hmm. So if I can find a way to clone myself and do everything, I'll be really happy. So yeah, those are I gave you 3 that stand out to me.
Good.
Yeah.
What keeps me going? I mean, I don't want to be repetitive, but I think there's something. Sometimes there's so much. The bureaucracy kind of moves slowly, and there's all these kind of limitations and arcane elements to it. So that can be interesting in itself, but when it does work, it can be pretty exciting. When you do see people putting pressure on it, and when we're kind of working together as a community, and I get to play a little role of reporting that out so people can kind of process a 2-hour city council meeting in like a 2 to 5 minute read. I think that is, I'm honored to be able to do that and put that information together. So that keeps me going. If it's useful information that people use to make decisions, to make democratic decisions, or to decide how they want to act or behave in a democratic space, and that is like an incredible honor.